Repeat about record about.
Okay, colleagues, the spokespersons are here, so Advocate Mpofu can lead this.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just read out a very. Okay, sorry. Can you clear the room? Okay. Can you just clear the room, please? In the meantime, I can give you a sweet.
It means I must lose my mind.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Unnecessarily.
Already. What time is it? Okay. Sorry, I didn't even know what time it was. Good evening. Yes, I'm just going to read out a very short statement, and then you can interact or ask questions. The Judicial Service Commission has been meeting for the past 5 days. The first 4 days was occupied by interviews of 4 candidates who were lined up in alphabetical order. This being the 5th day was set aside for deliberations. For understandable reasons, the deliberations have taken longer than anticipated. We apologize to those members of the public who have been waiting and members of the media. After much deliberation, the JSC has come to the decision to recommend that the President appoints Justice Mandisa Maya, the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, to be the next Chief Justice of South Africa. What made our task difficult was exactly that the candidates were all of a high quality, and the uniqueness of the process, which was also unprecedented, insofar as the President, for the first time ever, nominated more than one candidate to be interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission. Thank you very much. We also just want to take this opportunity to thank all the commissioners, members of staff, and particularly to thank our chairperson, Deputy President Petse, who had the unenviable task of handling such a difficult process for the past 5 days. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hi, Karen Ward from News 24. In terms, given that the President has ultimate discretion under the Constitution to appoint a candidate, is there any kind of consequence for him not following through on your recommendation and choosing one of the other candidates that was nominated?
Okay, thank you. Before I answer that question, I forgot to introduce my co-pilot again, Commissioner Tsepe. So she'll deal with some of the questions. No, there's no consequences. The Constitution is very clear that the Judicial Service Commission is making a recommendation, or to put it in the words of the Constitution, that the President, after consulting the JSC, makes the appointment. What is notable is that we are not even the only body that he consults. The Constitution says after consultation with the JSC and leaders of political parties represented in the National Assembly. So he's clearly not bound by either what we recommend or what those leaders of political parties recommend. He is the appointing authority. Thank you.
Christina Gori, SABC News. I have 2 questions. So the first is, the JSC has faced criticism in the past over the handling of some of its candidates and their interview styles by the commissioners. Is there any concern by the JSC in this process they could see the same complaints coming out following that letter that was read out yesterday at the end of the proceedings? And the second, if the commissioners can take us into confidence into some of the qualities that they felt put SCA President Manisa Maya at the top of that list, for the nomination.
I don't think we can answer that second question because that might then go into the deliberations. There's a reason why the deliberations were in camera. All I can say is that a report will obviously be sent to the president in that regard. As far as your first question is concerned, look, anybody who sits in this commission, I think, must just, by the mere fact that you are here, it means you've been sent by a particular constituency. So I don't think people should be thin-skinned, if there's such a thing. So this is a difficult process. It's probably one of the most difficult things to be done in a democracy. So if we're going to expect that everyone is going to give us a hug and a kiss, it's not going to happen. So South Africans are free to engage robustly and to insult us if they want to, because this is more about them than about us. It's their Chief Justice who is being appointed here. So if there are complaints, formal complaints, they'll obviously be entertained. As far as that letter is concerned, it was not meant to be read out in public, and it really is insignificant because it's probably one of hundreds or thousands of letters and tweets and all sorts of things that South Africans are free to engage with. So yeah, that's really that's the issue.
I think there was a question from Heidi.
Hasina asked the question, it was about the letter.
Kumar from Newsroom Africa. So people will be wondering what follows next and when or if there will be a process to formally, some pomp and ceremony to announce the new historic appointment of a first female Chief Justice.
If it happens, Commissioner Tsape will deal with that.
Thank you. I think formally from the JSC side is we will be writing a report to the President and informing the President of our recommendation to him. And then the President will, if he hasn't done that already, be consulting the other leaders, the leaders of the other political parties represented in the National Assembly, and he will make his decision as required by the Constitution. I wouldn't know whether there would be any pomp and ceremony, to be precise.
What kind of timeframes are we specifically looking at? Is it going to be this year, once the decision is formally made by the President? Expected, of course?
Yeah, no, most certainly this year. Yeah. But as far as we're concerned, I mean, I can't put my head on the block. Yeah. I think on our side, it's going to be a matter of days before that a report that Commissioner Tsepe is talking about with a covering letter is concerned. And then it's in the hands, then it's out of our hands after that. Yeah.
Oh, yes, because that's what I wanted to say. It's out of our hands when the President is going to make the decision. What is within our hands is us preparing our own report and submitting it to the President.
Exactly.
There was a hand from the other side.
Yes, Commissioner Tsepe, during earlier in the week, you mentioned that the JSC will first write to the President before communicating it publicly. Would you care to explain why the JSC now decided to make the recommendation before communicating to the President? Unless, of course, the JSC has already done so, has communicated to the President, that is.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Look, the Section 178(6) of the Constitution says that the JSC defines its own procedures. It's in the Constitution. It's not even just a rule. So once the JSC, we are just spokespersons. We're just messengers. Once we are told to make an announcement, we make it. But the decision is not ours. It's the JSC itself. Yeah.
So are you telling us before you've told the President?
Well, if you don't want, you can switch off the the machines. Yeah.
You know, obviously you are asked to do this.
We've just finished the meeting now. We have not spoken to anyone. I don't even know where the President is. Yeah.
And then,
we always tell you, every time the interviews here for the past 20 years, we tell you before we tell anyone else. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
given that the JSC chose not to defend itself against allegations of bias, lack of impartiality, blatantly and problematic deliberations in respect of the April Concourt interviews, are you apprehensive at all, given the apparent discrepancies in treatment between the candidate and the fact that unsubstantiated sexual harassment claims were ventilated against Judge President Ndambo, that this appointment process is going to be shrouded in the controversy that you didn't go into this process with an open mind, even though the President Meyer is an absolutely outstanding candidate?
No. The answer is no, we're not concerned about that.
Colleagues, are there any other questions? Okay, no.
We're done.
Yeah.
Thank you.